Well, I got involved because of our son Joel. And Joel was 11 years old, or 10 years old, or 11 years old, when he contracted the disease. And at that time, there was very little that was known about what was then ileitis and colitis. And Joan and I really wanted to make certain that we knew all about the disease. And when we found out what the disease was, we knew about the disease and what his future looked like and what our future looked like with him. You always look for something that's going to be a good fundraiser, something that we could, at that time, spread the word of the diseases. And with our founders, the Carises, the Liflins, and Marvin Gordetza, who were right there from the beginning, we went through a litany of things that we possibly could do. Joan and I had been very active in raising money in philanthropy in the city, and we found that our best way would be to put together an evening of fun, because then it was friend-raising more than fundraising. And we wanted it to build first to build the name, and second to build a philanthropic base for the organization.
My mother loved CCFA. My mother lived for the ball every year. She panicked about it. She was frenetic about it. If you knew my mother, you came to the ball. If you were willing to support any charity on earth, she was willing to support it with you, but that meant you were going to support CCFA. It was an event. It was an opportunity to tell people that they could get well from this disease. It was an event. It was a time to have a good time with your friends. It was like the center of fundraising for CCFA and bringing awareness to CCFA and telling people with Crohn's that it was okay to talk about it. She made huge strides with the ball, just incredible. She started it, she ran it, she loved it, she hated it. It was all wrapped up in one.
She was very involved in a dozen things at the time, but this was so important to us because it was part of our lives, and she wanted this to be successful. And so it was very meaningful to her, and it was very meaningful to the organization to have somebody like Joni, because, as I said, nobody ever dared say no to Joan.
I think creating the award is really nice. I think it's a wonderful way to honor my mother. She loved CCFA. She felt great authorship of CCFA. She loved the doctors. She didn't like the doctors, she loved the doctors. So the fact that these awards in general go to people who are inclined to help people with the disease, whether they're professional or lay people, or really dedicating their lives to making the disease more tolerable for people, was exactly what she wanted. That's exactly what she wanted. So I think she would do everything she could to deflect the attention from herself because she didn't like that. Nevertheless, she would be deeply honored.
It would have been impossible for the organization to become what it is today if it wasn't for the doctors who we are honoring tonight. Dr. Peter Banks, Kenneth Falchuk, Myron Falchuk, Dr. Richard Grand, Kurt Isselbacher, and Mark Peppercorn. All of them were there at the beginning.
These were my mother's boys. You know, these docs were the boys. She loved them. She thought these guys were gods, and they were fantastic to her, and she loved them. And I think it's incredibly appropriate. It's wonderful of CCFA to do this. We are incredibly grateful.
I think each doctor gave his best at the best that they had. And I can't take one over the other. I think we are grateful to have had all of these great doctors.
I just want to thank the docs for allowing themselves to be honored with the award with my mother's name on it. She would be incredibly proud. She loved you guys. You deserve it. Thank you.